Welcome back to Big Mouth and welcome to my review of Superman and Lois. The final Superman and Lois episode for, well, not for months, but a couple of months, right? Till May, and if anyone's wondering, I will not be watching Supergirl. Although the only thing that's good about that is that Lex Luthor will be front and centre. I love Superman and Lois, and the love these producers are giving is sensational. Remember, you can tag me and follow me on Twitter at Movies TV Mad. So I posted a tweet after I saw it, just so I could remember what I had to talk about, because I never remember anything. So this is the stuff that really caught my attention. Captain Luthor and Lois. Yes, I want to talk about that. Sarah and her dad. Yes. Lex Luthor mentioned as a separate entity. Yes. Right. So let's talk about this kind of flashback that Captain Luthor had. Now, we haven't seen Captain Luthor for a couple of episodes, so they really needed to talk about him in this one, and I'm glad that they did. So he's masquerading as a former journalist, a former worker at LexCorp, and there's a conversation between him and Lois. He finds Lois Lane, and they start having this discussion. He then starts querying how comes she writes about Superman all the time and how she's got access, and Lois gets a bit nervous and probably starts suspecting a little bit about this guy. Anyway, Lois gives Captain Luthor her card. And so that's very interesting, and you can see a dynamic between these two actors and these characters. So that's really, really cool. But near the end of the episode, we get this flashback. So Captain Luthor's from another world. In the other world, Kal-El, a.k.a. Superman, Clark Kent, turned evil, or maybe he didn't, or someone made him turn evil, or maybe it's a dark side plot, kind of echoing what happens in Zack Snyder's Justice League universe, right? I don't know. Anyway, Superman goes car, that world gets destroyed. This guy's taking it personally. But in his world, him and Lois got together. Now, I'm not sure if Lois and Superman get together as well. He did say, kind of when he was talking to his AI, that whatever Lois is, Superman is. So maybe she did dump him eventually for Clark. So before this, we kind of had this thing where he feels that Superman's going to turn bad in this world and he's a danger and he has to be stopped. And that's obvious. He actually believes that. But now we know that him and Lois had a relationship. There's something else going on. It's a fabulous twist. I think I didn't see that coming. Let me tell you where I'm at with modern day entertainment. Now, let me tell you, back in the early noughties, I used to watch every generic American show from Hollywood, every movie. Now I don't do that because I think entertainment in both television and films is one and done's, watered down pieces of shit. And I don't watch any Netflix originals, nothing. I handpick what I watch. I watch very few movies. I watch the DC movies, the Marvel movies. That's all they're fucking making. Anyway, I like Doctor Who. Well, I don't like Doctor Who as I did when the revival first started, but I watch a few things, but not that much. So I handpick what I watch. And believe you me, I wouldn't be here shilling about Superman and Lois if it was a piece of shit. Because I loved Arrowverse in seasons 1 and 2. I loved Arrow seasons 1 and 2, Flash season 1 and 2, and then they watered it down and it became the terrible piece of shit that it is now. Sorry for everyone who works on that, actors, grips. You know, I respect you and a lot of hard work, you know, and you have to work at a pace, and I respect your hard work. But sorry, those shows are no longer for me. I think the Smallville TV show is the greatest thing ever made in terms of superhero television, and I don't think even Superman and Lois has topped that yet. But there's so many interesting facets to this show. There's the family dynamic. And you've got the whole thing with Jonathan and Jordan this week, where things between Jordan and Sarah are really blossoming. Normally I'd be saying, oh, this is shipper crap. I'm not interested in this. But it's actually really, really cool, that relationship. And they kind of, the whole premise of this episode is about the Harvest Festival thingy. Martha used to do it. It's something that Clark can do to honour his mother's memory as well. And it's about him giving and being kind and being compassionate. That's who Clark is anyway. And so Lana's involved in all of this. So it's a very interesting, I would call it a subplot. But I want to go to Lana's family because it's a very complex dynamic. And I think it's amazing and outstanding that these producers are doing this. I really do. And I will give them credit for their love for the Smallville TV show and the flashbacks for young Clark Kent in this episode too. But first, let's talk about Lana's family. So it's pretty clear that her husband used to be an alcoholic. There was a fire. Clark saved it. But basically, one of his compatriots in the fire at the fire service gets too much smoke in his lungs and he's probably never going to be a fireman again. So he goes for a drink. He comes home. Lana makes a big deal out of it. Actually, alcohol is a big theme in this episode, which I think is wonderful, by the way. It's clear that he used to be an alcoholic. But there's something very interesting that happened. Lana leaves and he's on his own with his daughter, Sarah. He starts humming this tune he used to do when she was a kid, and they both start getting emotional. So what is going on here? Could it be true that this husband not only was an alcoholic, but he was beating Lana up? Or was he abusing his daughter, Sarah? Now, I know that's a far reach, but it seems plausible. Or are these people, these storytellers, so clever that it's actually Lana who used to abuse the husband? Now, I think in alt-leftist Hollywood, this would never happen. I would love it and it would be refreshing to deal with that kind of thing, but they're not going to do that. This is not the world those things are dealt with. So we have to look at either the husband being a wife beater or maybe even being someone who abused Sarah. And I think it's very interesting that the younger sister was referenced a couple of weeks ago to being a bully as well. So he could be abusing her as well. It looks like we could be going down that road. Let me just say, if this is where they're going, so far it's been handled with care and attention. And when you think about the woman who quit Superman and Lois because they weren't being representational, by the way, that song the husband was singing was a Latino song. So there's a lot of representation, and I'm inspired by it. You must represent as many cultures as you can and not just one, and not the loudest majority and not the most represented minority. In Hollywood, they are getting more than enough representation, and they're also being represented in this show, quite right too, by the way. But the representation for Latinos in this show is brilliant. I've been calling out for more Latino representation. I mean, I think there should be more Native American representation, and I think they're getting there. But yeah, we must, if we're going to represent people, we've got to put our money where our mouth is. So very interesting dynamic there. I do suspect that he may have even been beating up Lois and abusing the daughter. Now, not Lois, sorry, Lana. And so it's a very interesting episode, by the way, because they're dealing with a lot of themes in this. And so because they're doing the Harvest Festival, what happens is Jonathan's girlfriend, and who cares what her name is, by the way, sorry, but I don't care about you. They haven't even tried to deal with you as a character. So, and that's been purposely done, and I'm fine with it. But she calls him and dumps him, right? She's meant to be coming to the Harvest Festival. I think it was a bit transparently done, but cool. She dumps him, so he's getting very jealous of how Sarah and Jordan are getting along. Him and his mates start drinking at the Harvest Festival. Obviously, Sarah, knowing her father's an alcoholic, they've hinted to that already. She goes ballistic. The date is ruined because she's about to tell Jordan something about her family. Now, was she about to confide about the alcoholism or maybe the potential abuse? So I think this is a great... If you do these things on a television show properly, they can be well handled, you know, brilliantly. And so far, these writers are handling this issue, if it is the issue that I think, really, really delicately. And so we have a few flashbacks of Clark Kent as a teenager, which I think is fabulous because I'm a big fan of Smallville, as I've already said. Best DC TV show, best superhero show on the planet, no question about it. They handle things a bit differently in this version where he's got a hood on, and I love the bit with the robbers nicking the TVs and stuff. They think they're going to shoot Clark. They realise they can't, and he goes, put it back, and they're going, yeah, I'll put the stuff back. I laughed that loud at that moment, so that was really good. So what's going on with this is we're finding out that Clark had similar issues to what Jonathan's going through this week. And, you know, he feels jealous of his brother. I still don't understand what's going on, why they decided to have two brothers on this show. and if one's going to be the villain and one's going to be the hero. Thus far, it's looking like Jordan's the hero, and maybe ultimately Jonathan will be this villain. Now, I have a theory about Jonathan, because this is interesting, but just going back to the Smallville flashbacks, I thought they were awesome. The Red Crystal, the gift of the Red Crystal. When I first saw the box, I thought they were going to echo what they did with Smallville, with the kryptonite being in the lead box and everything, but they didn't go that far. But they do shout out Smallville a lot, so I'm grateful to the producers for that. Now, the guy went missing, forgot his name. Sorry, can't expect me to remember everything. He's come back. Him and his mum are giving Lois some bullshit story so she doesn't keep on investigating. This guy has got powers. They've experimented on him. He sets fire to the Harvest Festival. And then this kind of mysterious woman who seems to have powers as well puts him in this kind of oven thing to sort him out. And so basically Superman fights him and he says, "I've been resurrected, Kal-El." Now, I'm not sure how he knows Superman's name is Kal-El. Does everyone know Superman's called Kal-El in this show? I don't know about that. Maybe comment down below and let me know if you know better. And so that's a brilliant moment as well. It's pretty clear that this show is about the human factor more than Superman. We see Superman once a week. He does his thing, but that's all we're going to see him. And I think this is a choice of budget. Simple as that. They simply don't have the budget. I'm sure these people would love to have so much more Superman. And we get a reference to Lex Luthor when Captain Luthor meets Lois Lane. And when he says, Luthor comes, goes, "Oh, you work for him, blah, blah, blah. Or you used to work for him." So Lex Luthor is a reality in this Superman and Lois show. But is he the Lex Luthor from the Supergirl TV show? I have no idea. These are things that we're going to find out very, very quickly. Is this part of Arrowverse or not? I still can't decide what's going on here. So anyway, yes. So that oven that guy with the powers goes into, could it be possible that this same thing is going to happen to Jonathan? They give him powers, and this is how they go down this narrative of this being the evil son, the son that's kind of got all this jealousy towards Superboy, his brother Jordan, as he's nicknamed him, because that jealousy is beginning to fester. I'm not sure if they're dealing with it very well. They kind of don't want to send him straight away down this dark path. And it's interesting because Jonathan in the comics has got powers, hasn't he? So that's interesting that he hasn't got powers, but maybe he will be put in this oven and he will get powers, and this will be a complication, not just for a Superman and Lois Season 1 Part B, but for Season 2 and going forward as well. So, yes. Now, what else did I detail here? Let's have a look. Yeah, so basically, I've referenced everything there that I wanted referencing. And I just want to say, this is definitely another 9.5 out of 10. I think this episode is better than last week's episode, by the way, which I also enjoyed. But I'm just really excited about these Captain Luthor revelations. I really am, because what does this mean? And, of course, this puts Bitsy Tulloch's Lois Lane more in the forefront as well. They're doing really well with her. She's working at the Smallville Gazette. I like the fact that Clark's clearing out a part of the Kent farmhouse so Lois can do her journalist stuff as well. Kind of the relationship stuff is very interesting. Look, Tyler Hoechlin has surprised me. He really has. The way he deals with the emotional stuff so well and the Superman stuff. He's a great Clark. He's a great Superman. He's all round with this character doing a fabulous job, as the rest of the cast are. But there's lots of question marks about what's going on now, because this is more personal for Captain Luthor now. So what is his first name? We know he's Captain Luthor. Who is he? Is he Lex Luthor's son from that universe? Is there a Lex Luthor? Is he Lex Luthor in that world? We really don't know. But somehow he has travelled to this world to stop Superman, or is it just pure revenge he's after? We see him shoot Superman down. But then when he goes to the crater, Superman isn't there anymore. So he's just missed out on him again. So listen, this is a really interesting show. They really thought out the arc of this show. This is very different to the other CW shows, because you've got a creative here who sat down and really thought about this. And I like that. I like people giving the audience something that they really thought about. And there's an arc here. There's themes here. We're seeing kind of the situation with Lana's family as well, and the husband and Sarah, and what that husband could have done to that family. That's very interesting. I find that really unique and very rare to get these things kind of done like this on a continuation level on a superhero TV show. So a brilliant episode of Superman and Lois. But of course, I want to know what you think. Comment down below, like, share and subscribe. And I'll be back with more Superman and Lois reviews when it comes back. By the way, it was all down to COVID. They didn't take it off the air purposely. It's a brilliant show. I think it's their most popular show. Someone made a great point to me the other day on TikTok saying that it's really hard to watch the other CW shows because this show is so good. I still don't think we're going to get any crossovers. I think they really want to separate it from the other shows, and I don't blame them. Comment down below, like, share and subscribe, and I'll be back tomorrow with the DCEU Dailies. See you again soon.